All right, we'll go across to DD India's Akshay Dongare is joining us live from Delhi. He has more information on this. Good morning, Akshay. From 1st August deadline to these new tariffs by Donald Trump, tell us what all countries and the sectors too are likely to be affected the most by these new tariffs.
Well, Abhishek, it seems that the entire world, almost in its entirety, is somewhere or the other way impacted by
Yeah.
these, unilateral tariffs and irrational tariffs that have been implemented by the U.S. government. We are yet to see because it's quite a comprehensive topic because a person went decided one day that he wants to go on a march applying tariffs on every other country, which was never done by the U.S. market in similar kind of manner, and in such a blanket tariff implementation. First, a 10% baseline tariff was implemented in the month of March, sorry, rather in the month of April.
April, yeah.
But now what we are seeing is it depends. If Donald Trump is happy with a country, that country gets lower tariffs. If Donald Trump is somewhere not personally pleased with that country, the way it does business, or the way it carries out itself, the way even if you are a country that is a harborer of terrorism, Donald Trump will be happy with you unless you do something to make him angry, or you do not side with him with whatever he says. So now it seems that the U.S. Government at present is making rules that unless you agree with what Donald Trump says, we will try to do trade with you. Still, you'll get some tariff. But if you just deny anything, or rather disagree with anything that Donald Trump says, then there will be a heavy tariff on you. So it's not about a country geopolitical ties, trade ties, or any kind of quid pro quo with the U.S. In terms of trade, but it's clearly on whims and fancies of an old man who is occupying at this point the one of the highest chairs in the US. So in fact, the highest chair. He's the president of the United States. But the way he has been conducting the entire business has rather questioned the entire office, because you cannot pick up a call and then speak to a leader, and if you do not have a good conversation, then implement a 10% tariff on that country. You not only risk trade with that country, you also risk your reliability and your status as a country that can be relied upon. So all that has gone down the drain in the last few days, since all of this started, and unilaterally or erratically, or rather in an impulsive manner, Abhishek, tariffs have been implemented on countries from friends to foes. Everyone has been on the target, every kind of industry. So only the industries such as that are required by the US are exempted, but any country that is required by some other country, there is no consideration for that when it comes to the tariff implementation. So the situation has been really confusing, and today on 1st of August, we'll really get to see the scale of these tariffs and the impact that it will have on global economies now.
Pretty complicated also, Akshay, and it keeps changing in stance. But given the 7-day window now before these new tariffs kick in, are we seeing any signs of back-channel diplomacy or maybe pushback from the affected nations?
Well, yes, there are certain countries that do not have any other option, Abhishek, but to do business with the US. For example, there are countries that do not want to do business, a lot of business with China. Many of the countries are not aligned to do a lot of business with China. They have been for decades. For decades they have been supporting the US when it comes to geopolitics, when it comes to other things. But suddenly the US president comes and says that even if you're our allies, even you have sacrificed for us, or even if you have given up your geopolitical gains to be our ally, and be threatened with other bigger countries, still we'll put some tariffs on you. Still we will put tariffs on you, and as long as you do not agree with, or rather maintain good relations with our supreme leader, the quote-unquote supreme leader, the president of the US, we will still put tariffs on you and put you in a position where you now cannot do trade with China, and you are now in a situation where you have to do trade with the US, even with higher tariffs. So this is an old saying that to be an enemy of the US is dangerous, but to be a friend is fatal. And it seems that that is being implemented on the ground now, and that is being seen by the rest of the world, that how fatal can it be to simply rely on country, because you never know what kind of a president gets elected the next time. He may or
Yeah.
may not be completely against, or for that country. So it's all a gamble now. So
Yeah.
it seems that this decision by Donald Trump is really going to shape the new world order and the new geopolitics and new alliances across the world.
Absolutely, and also because of this, stock market also takes a beating because of these tariffs. All right, Akshay, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for your inputs.